Hi, it's Darren from SimNation. A couple people have actually asked me to do a video for Draft Day Sports College Football 2023 around formations. So I'm going to geek out. Uh, I love football. Football is one of my favorite sports. So is what we would call soccer. Um, and I'm very intellectual, hence the reason why I'm doing a video about a sim football league, right? Yeah. But I think a couple people have asked me in the context of, is there a simple way to win with formations? The short answer is no. So if that's the answer you're looking for, I just gave it to you. You can end the video now. But I think it's a little bit more complex, just like it is in real life. To me, formations are determined by the players you have and the coaches you have and what you want to do. I don't think that there's one formation that is going to make you more successful than others. Now, depending on the type of players you have, a formation absolutely does matter. For instance, if you don't have tight ends, you don't want to run a formation that has a tight end. So two tight end is out for you. Likely so is I formation, so is pro set. You're probably looking at shotgun 4 and spreads, or running someone in a tight end position that's really a wide receiver. If you don't have a fullback or have capable running backs, you're probably not going to go for an I formation or a pro set, or those formations that require a fullback, and that would be two tight end jumbo, as well as that would also be wishbone. If you don't have three quality running backs, you're probably not going to run them wishbone. So I do think that I'll walk through this real quick, but for those of you looking for the silver bullet, there isn't one. I think formations are largely, what formations you decide to run are largely going to be based on the players you have and the coaches and what they're good at. And I've done videos on this, so I'm not going to go through that again because otherwise it'll be a long video. But let's just talk about formations real quick. So I'm going to create one here real quick because I'm being lazy. So in the game you have I formation, pro set, shotgun, shotgun 4, spread, two tight end jumbo, and wishbone. Each one of these has a real life counterpart. And I will tell you that I formation, probably when I was growing up, was the most common formation used from high school through pro, right? And I think over the past maybe decade, it's changed a little bit to where shotgun has become a little bit more prevalent than it used to. And of course, the I formation refers to, I'll show you. For those of you who don't, if you're watching this and you don't know football, this is going to be interesting. So I formation refers to the fact that the quarterback, the running back, quarterback, fullback, running back are in an I formation. They're lined up directly behind each other. Now, in running terms, this is a very powerful setup, right? So first you have your line, but now you have a fullback who's coming through wherever the running back is going to go and can plow through that hole and take a linebacker out, which frees the running back up. It also means the running back is farther back in the backfield, so they have more visibility and view to be able to see where they want to go. So it's interesting just how this, when I was growing up, it was just interesting to watch because I formation for me growing up was option. A lot of the option plays were actually run out of I formation. And of course, one of the most popular ones way back when, and I'm not this old by the way, was the Maryland I. And Maryland I was where you had two tight ends, you had a quarterback, a fullback, and two halfbacks behind the fullback. And that was developed by Tom Nugent. Now, you have seen Maryland I a little bit more in recent terms. Now, it's not in the game, but Maryland I was used by people like Utah. But this is a running formation. Make no qualms about it. Its strength is running. So if you want to run the ball and you want to run it with authority, one of the things that you would think about is an I formation, especially if you have a fullback and a good blocking tight end, and maybe you're a little bit sus on the wide receivers. That's when I would choose I formation if it was me. Now, if you're going to throw the ball out of the I, what I would tell you is a lot of the passes are medium and long. You want to have a quarterback that has arm and ideally intelligence. But arm and intelligence are probably the two best traits for an I formation quarterback. And then, of course, your wide receivers, you want them to have the ability to block. Your tight end definitely want them to have the ability to block. And then your fullback should have the ability to block as well as be able to run, because there are plays in this formation where the fullback's gonna catch it or they're gonna run it. Now jet sweeps and stuff are newer, where the wide receiver will run the ball. So again, having wide receivers that can run or block, very important in the I. So that's kind of the I. The other one, so Pro Set really isn't used as much as it was. Again, Pro Set was something that was big when I was growing up. It's called split back. You could call it split back or some other thing. If I remember correctly, Pro Set has its roots in the T formation. So for those of you, T formation was another running attack, right? So I'll show you what kind of like that. That's a bad example. Let's choose a running play. So first of all, graphically, this is wrong. This is more of a strong or weak. In this case, it's probably strong. But normally you would have the halfback hill, fullback hill, can change sides, right? But a T was where you had the halfback, fullback, halfback. And they were lined up in a vertical line instead of in a horizontal line instead of a vertical line, which is the I. And again, strong running formation. This is a decent running formation, but really the difference between the I and the Pro Set was the Pro Set was more prone to the passing attack because you could push the backs out wider. And as you're pushing them out wider, what it also means is you're pushing out the linebackers, whoever's guarding them, out wider, which opened up running lanes. Now, again, in this game, Pro Set is a hybrid. It's really good at pass. It's really good at run. It's especially good at counters and off tackles. So you want to make sure that whatever players you have, if you have good hybrid players who can both run and block, run and catch, have good ability to block and catch, Pro Set's a good option for you. And I use this a lot, and I like Pro Set. Now, in terms of modern day, I don't know that Pro Set's around as much as it used to be. A lot of the Pro Sets you see today don't have the tight end anymore. The 3 wide receiver Pro Sets. So Mike Holmgren in the Seattle Seahawks is probably a great example of that. I think if you think back to Lavelle Edwards and BYU with Jim McMahon, another great example, right? So, but Pro Set, great hybrid formation. If you have the players for it, you can run it with success. Probably one of the more common formations modern times is the shotgun. So shotgun to me in this game is a pass-heavy offense. I'm not going to talk about wildcats and shit like that, so let's just do this. But a shotgun is, there used to be a formation called the single wing. So the characteristic of a shotgun is the quarterback is roughly about 5 yards back, typically has a running back there, although there are shotgun variants where there is no running back, and it's just the quarterback back there. Traditionally, I think in this game, most shotgun plays in shotgun, as opposed to shotgun 4, have a tight end. In shotgun 4, there is no tight end. So the characteristic of this one is you have good wide receivers. You maybe have a good catching running back, but not a good running back, and you have a quarterback who can throw the ball. So whether he has arm, traditionally for me, if I'm going to run the shotgun, I like to have a quarterback who has both arm and accuracy, because then they can do the short, the medium, and the long passing. There are a lot of teams in our league that run shotgun and run medium to long, meaning they're relying on arm instead of accuracy. And then there are other teams that do short passing where they're doing accuracy instead of short to medium. And when I say these terms like arm and accuracy, I'm talking about player skills. So I did a video recently on that. I'm not going to go through that again. But to me, you can run the ball through shotgun. I think Frankie and Brooks have done a great job with creating plays that allow you to run the ball out of the shotgun a lot better. So RPO, pistol, those type of plays. And I'm very grateful for it. And of course, I think if I think back to the heydays of who was really great at shotgun, is like the Buffalo Bills in the 90s with Jim Kelly. That's the one that immediately comes to my mind. I don't know really who created it. I'm pretty sure I could look it up on Wikipedia and it would probably tell me, and probably be wrong too. But shotgun is a great passing offense, and you can use it effectively to run the ball if you want to. But to me, in this league, it's at its best when you're running it. When you're passing the ball and then doing things like sweeps, draws, because you're throwing the ball, it opens up the rushing attack. Shotgun 4, I mentioned this again, is we don't have empty backfields, so there's none of that. And we also, I don't think, have it where you can have a fullback and a halfback and you take out the tight end, a fullback, or two halfbacks. You'd want to have two halfbacks. You want a fullback back though. But traditionally, RPO, again, it's the ability to run the ball as well as pass it. Shotgun 4 in shotgun is the really pass-heavy offenses formations, where you want to have quarterbacks based on the length of you throwing it. Ideally, try to get someone who has both arm and accuracy, and then your wide receivers should be, depending on the type of plays you're running. If you're running short to medium, you want agility more than speed. If you're running medium to long, you're going to want speed over agility, although again, agility influences the ability to catch the ball. And then, of course, you want backs who have the ability to catch the ball. Spread, to me, is an interesting one. On paper, spread should be entirely about throwing the ball. I think the people who approach it that way are going to find out that they're missing out on life. Mostly because, to me, spread is, in this game, one of those formations will, it just, you can use it for pretty much. And to me, the spread is kind of single back. It's not like bowl bound where you actually have in bowl bound you actually have trips and you have single back and then you have spread. In bowl bound, spread is actually no back. And then of course trips is a single back formation, but you have three wide receivers on one side. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why you would do that, but it's a single back formation. This is a hybrid to me. You can effectively run the ball and you can effectively pass the ball out of this formation. As you can see, they've got a lot of great options. They've got a lot of great run plays. I would say that if you have the running backs and you have the wide receivers, just like Pro Set, this is a good formation for you to look at using. And I definitely think you should take a good, long, hard look at it. To me, single back is one of the more pervasive ones out there. I mean, you think about like university, you think about like Texas Tech, right? Probably a bad analogy nowadays, but Texas Tech used to do a lot of spread. So definitely, this is, to me, this is a bread and butter one for me. I love the spread. I use it a lot in both the pro and college game. And I would say if you want to, you should as well. Two tight end is, again, another hybrid offense to me. The difference between this and, of course, the spread is instead of having wide receivers, an additional wide receiver, you now have an additional tight end. So I run... This is probably the one I run the most, candidly. I use a lot of two tight end. And the reason why is because I invest in tight ends so they can catch the ball. I like a lot of the pass plays to the wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. You could call it flank or split end, whatever you want to call it, right? And it's great for running the ball, especially on sweeps, pitch, counters, off tackles. This is a power formation. You can do a lot with this, and you can definitely make a defense life miserable because they've got to guard the pass or they got to guard the run, and you can just make their life miserable. Again, just like with shotgun, you're going to want to choose your passing route or recruit for people who can do it all. So if you've got agility but you don't have speed, go short to medium. If you've got speed but don't have agility, go medium to long with your passing game. This is just a great formation, and this is one of my favorite ones, by the way. You can tell by the way I'm describing it. I hate two tight end jumbo. To me, I use this in the pro game. It's a great running formation, and that's its strength. It's not a great passing formation. It's an I formation with an additional tight end. I would almost rather take the wide receiver 1 out and just stick him in the backfield and make it a Maryland I. But two tight end jumbo is more akin to me like the goal line offenses of yonder years. It's a power rushing formation. So if you really want to run the ball with authority and power, this is your formation. If you don't have great wide receivers, you don't have great pass blockers, I would highly recommend taking a look at two tight end jumbo. Wishbone, this is a rushing, it's just straight up, it's a rushing formation. You can throw the ball, but you're not going to be hugely effective, candidly. And anyone who tells you otherwise probably is wanting to make fun of you. So this is a variation of the T formation, which I mentioned earlier. The difference is they push the fullback up. So in traditional T, and we talked about this, is just straight. In this case, the fullback gets pushed up ahead of the other two in theory because it gives them a better blocking position. There are a lot of schools that you could think about that have run the wishbone over the years. In the 60s and 70s, I would argue most, if not all, of the best scoring offenses were running wishbones. So like Alabama, Oklahoma, I think Nebraska did it as well, although I could be wrong on that. You don't really see it in the pros. You still see some teams running it today, like Air Force Academy, Naval Academy. A lot of times you use this when you don't have a lot of great wide receivers and you have people who could run the ball or block and who have great discipline. It's a good formation. I would tell you, if you want to see an example of success with the wishbone, look at NC State within SNCFL. Van traditionally has done a great job with it. There are other schools, I think Steve at different points has used it as well. If you're trying to run the ball, it really can run the ball with authority. So that's just a quick overview of formations. I know someone's going to ask me about RPO. I've done videos on RPO. RPO is great, but you just got to go in with your expectations. If you try to run just RPO plays, you're not going to be as successful. And it really depends on the formation that you're running. Pistol is something to think about. There's some teams in this league that have done a really good job with the pistol plays, which is largely shotgun. and shotgun 4. I think are the ones that have the most. Well, shotgun's the one that has it. And I think it's spread actually. Could be wrong. Yeah, it's just shotgun. So with shotgun, I mean, I've seen people do really, really well with pistol plays. So I would say recommend it. There's not going to be a big difference between if you run the pistol or you run the regular version of shotgun. It's just a matter of where the running back is. So in shotgun, it's normally to the left. In pistol, it's behind the quarterback, which in theory makes running plays a little bit better because there's not pitching involved or a need for the running back to cross the quarterback or the quarterback to go out of their way to try to cross the running back. Whereas in the pistol, it's just like being under the center except for the ball still being snapped to the quarterback. But I will say that I've seen pistol used with a lot of success. But again, the variation, as long as you have the right players for shotgun, you should be successful with pistol as well. Hopefully this helps. I'm a bit long-winded today. I apologize, but that's kind of formations and kind of what I think about it. For me, my traditional formations I use in most of my playbooks are traditionally I formation for running, pro set as a hybrid, shotgun for passing, spread as a hybrid, and then 2 tight end as a hybrid as well. The hybrids are the ones where I'm going to run in, pass out of it, but I largely use I formation and shotgun to either run the ball or throw the ball respectively. So hope you have a great day. Hope this video helps you a little bit and I didn't confuse you. But we'll talk to you more later.